Good morning, all. My background is gone. Why did my background disappear? Did I click the wrong background? I don't know, maybe this background's the right background. There it is. That was weird. Good morning, everybody, and fellow travelers on Spaceship Earth. I'm going to click on lounge today. We're going to be lounging. All right. I'm still working on my hermetics. I like hermetics. Hermetics is this setup for world building. And just make sure you covered all of your bases. There we go. I'm going to finish this. Maybe I'll cut out early and take a little bit of a break today. I don't know. I do know that I have sent my comic off and I need to go pester somebody for it. I'm breaking these all down into their component pieces, making one out of each of these. Some of these are hard, like topography. How do you do topography in a space system with a whole bunch of worlds? I mean, which world should I topographize? Hey Ray, how are you doing? How's the world where you are? This is a world building exercise I'm working on right now. I have a comic I've been working on for a while called Bellatrix Rising. And this is a world building exercise called Hermetics. And it's just going back over some of the things in your world to make sure you've asked all the really important questions. So, things to flesh out your world so that if you run into a point when you're doing your writing where you need to ask a certain question or my comic is definitely sci-fi. It is here, I'll show you. Actually, I've got a button I can push. I think I have a button I can push. Yes, ish. Nope, that's our times. Although, there you go. That's our times for our show. But that's not the button I wanted to push. There we go. Mine's the one on the left there, Bellatrix Rising. You can actually go find it. It's on Good Morning Cat. It's on globalcomics.com. And you can find it there along with Cats, which is the one on the far right there. I like drawing robots too, actually. I really do. Drawing robots is awesome. What kind of robots do you like to draw? I'm a robots and spaceships sort of guy. And it's really hot there, huh? It's hot here too. We're already 24 degrees Celsius outside. It's ridiculous. I don't do so well. I'm going to die. Let's see if I can find some examples of some of the things. Here we go. Not necessarily a robot, but it is my multi-mode vehicle. It's 20 at night. So I'm broadcasting from Denver, Colorado, which isn't necessarily. Why are you off? There we go. Denver is usually much cooler than other places. And so I often feel kind of like, when it gets to 24 degrees Celsius, or like yesterday, it was up in the 30s, like 33, 34. And I was like, really? But yeah, so here's my Walker shuttlecraft. It walks. No, don't save it. It's fine. We're still working on this. Right, done that one. So I have finished issues 2 and 3 of my comic, and they're off now with readers trying to read it. And my readers have caught COVID, so they're offline for a little bit, and I'm waiting for them to get over COVID so that I can have them give me the yay or nay on the comic as to whether I can move on. So in the meantime, I'm just kind of moving along here and doing the things and kind of doing things that I can do without needing to have my comic back here and work on it. So, you do comic work in any way or anything like that? And no is fine. I mean, it's not really. This isn't an exclusive club, so you can not do it and it'll be fine. Oh, that's kind of cool, actually. I could see that being very obscure, a very obscure but interesting way to handle that kind of scripting. Can that happen? Is that even real? I know, right? Got a buddy who's in India at the moment, and he's been sending me just pictures of thermometers and stuff, and I'm like, that's weird, because the thermometers are getting way ridiculous again. So all right, now I have done one of these guys for each color, and we can ask all of these questions. Actually, I want to redo the history one. The history one's just a little too big. I had made sort of, I've been putting them up in this upper corner here to kind of make them there, like that. There we go. Yes. All right. Now we've done all of these hermetics. Hermetics, again, is something that they kind of came up with originally in r/world building on Reddit. They were talking about grapes, which was a version of this, but I feel like this might be better. I'm curious as to where the differences in grapes might be, so I'm going to go look at that real quick. I have that one over on my where is it? Oh, one step up. That's why I'm not having. I'm like, where did I put it? It's in the how-to. So this is the grapes technique, right? So we've got kind of the same thing. Geography. And the thing I didn't see necessarily was achievements. Right? Because when we look at this one, he's got the other ones in here to some degree. But we look at the achievements. His achievements is like his history. Right. So I'm kind of feeling like, though, kind of like the achievements one. I think what I might do is change my canvas size to like this. Right? Did this society hit the industrial? It just kind of like hang out? Was it near the industrial age? Because he made his grapes or his hermetics roughly the same size as the grapes one here. Which I kind of like. And what I'll do is I'll keep the grapes one right next to the hermetics one if I ever need to expand upon this and just go, you know what, I think I do a little bit more. Or if it needs to use move this to here. And I'll just keep both of these guys. And that way I can just ask myself these questions when I'm working on an environment or culture. There are 4 or 5 different cultures in my comic that are all different, that have shown up in the since the beginning of the comic. So I'm just trying to kind of make this a little bit less clunky, but also look at some of the things that are kind of going on in the culture and in the world. So one of the statements they're making here is that you use this technique when you don't feel like your world is quite fleshed out. It's just helping you try to kind of get your world a little bit more fleshed out. Which I always like to do. Now I've made one that's just all of these by itself. So change the canvas size so it's smaller. Now we have just grapes and hermetics in one place. Oh, right. And the reason is because now I'm going to pull up the green one here and add the other questions that Amanda on this side asked, so that because grapes has some more things that I kind of like the wording of. So the first one's geography, right? And that's sort of the topography, right? And some of the things that it's asking in geography look like economy too, primary exports and imports. Primary imports and exports looks like it's over here. So everything else on this one is on topography, which is interesting. But primary imports and exports is not actually. And what are the most valuable resources? Mm-hmm. How are those resources bought and sold? How wealthy is the society compared to others? How can one society be considered wealthier than the other? So it looks like the grapes version is more specific, and the hermetics is more generalized. So if you're just creating something out of the blue, you could use hermetics, but it looks like grapes is a little bit more focused. He changed the wording just a little bit on this side. So I'm just going to go through and just add some of the things that were in there. Let's open. Oh, there's another version of this. It's kind of like this. These are the elements of culture. So you can break the culture down into an even smaller group. Which is important because we've got a couple of cultures that are very much human versus nature. And then we have a bunch of cultures that are human versus human. So, like in my rig of worlds that are in here, we have a lot of information that's on this side that's fascinating. It looks like the conflicts. What are the wars, pieces, compromises, cooperation? These all look like questions between two cultures. So we don't have quite the full culture of itself. There was some culture in another culture. That's interesting. So, back to what I was doing, which was bringing up the hermetics. I'm going to bring this up and put this right here. Right? So, we're looking at topography as the first one. So, let's open this one. I like the questions that are made here. Right? So, we're going to put this and just add this as part of its questionnaire. Yes, you can replace it. Honest, it's okay. And then we also had one question out of the economy. primary imports and exports. Looks like the religion did the same thing as religion, and all the same questions were asked, but I'll double check it anyway. Right. Tenets, ideals, main myths, legends. Yeah, that one's completely the same, so I don't need to worry about that one. And then achievements was the one that I really liked because it seemed very different than history in a lot of ways. Because it's asking some more specific things, right? You know what I could do? I could just do this and multiply. There I am. I kind of like the way that the grape said that versus the way that it sort of didn't imply it. So, yeah. And some of the things I've already written up on here are things that definitely are like further, more detailed on this. Are you really far north, Ray, on the step? Because I'm always like you were saying 30 degrees, and then I'm like, you might be really far north. Because if you're really far north, then of course 30 degrees would be unheard of. And then I'd start to envy your position. Because like wherever you are, it's cooler than it is here. And we were at high altitude. Like, it should be cooler. I'm just saying. I'm so over summer. Okay, politics. These are this executive. Systems of government, socialist, democratic, fascist, etc. How are laws created? How are laws enforced? How is power exchanged? I really like the how is power exchanged as a question. Like, do you have a president? Do you have a dictator? Do you have what? How does that get changed? In the unity is a pure democracy. So you get all of the voting stuff on your personal, whatever, the personal equivalent of a phone, and you get all of the votes for the day, and you vote. And if you want to learn more, you can click a little button, and somebody will tell you what the pros are, and somebody will tell you what the cons are. And so, in order for a law to go to vote, it has to be, you have to make a little video telling what the pros and the cons are. So that's kind of cool because I can actually add that. But how is the power exchanged? It's a good question. Never really thought about that. but all of that is the same. This asks things about law enforcement systems, which is something I can actually let's talk about the law enforcement systems, because you never think about that. You know, what happens when the police show up? You know, what does that mean? What are the rules for the police? Social structure and societal scale. Economics is also kind of over here in the economy. I'll check that. The most valuable resources. So she kind of put all that together. How can a society be considered wealthier compared to others? And see, this is also a good question to ask about the unity, because the unity is a meritocracy. Well, if it's a meritocracy, how do you sell and buy goods? Not only that, how do you interface with another culture if you're a meritocracy? And personal worth, I could see being an appropriate thing. But when you're talking about an abstract, like, okay, I know that I have X number of merits that allows me to have a house, a car, I don't know, whatever, and things like that. And I mean, of course, some things in the unity are considered a right. You have a right to have shelter and food. Because that, of course, is one of the big things that I think is a flaw of capitalism, is that you don't, in our culture, have a right to food or shelter, which means that if you don't conform to society norms in whatever way that is, they will starve you to death. And I don't like that design in a way. So I'm kind of like, well, you have a right to food and you have a right to, in fact, come to think of it, that would be a more diverse culture already. You'd encourage diversity by just fixing that one piece. I'm already answering these questions. So let's open up the economics, the economy one, because I like this one. And we'll start looking at this, right? The other questions it was asking. Yeah, these are more direct. And that's all right. I'm just sitting here world building. You can quietly working. Ray and I have had discussions before about societies and things like that. So kind of aiming all of this kind of more towards Ray and seeing what their thoughts are on it. Not directly. I mean, Ray doesn't have to say anything. All right. So we'll do this. And I'll put up here. Cut this section right here from this layer, and then that way I can just write directly on it. Same thing. Get that out. So that. All right. All right. Once again, for weird reasons, I have a control issue. This is Here's what we're going to do. We're going to fix some of these problems that are going on here. So my tablet has frozen up again this morning. So all I'm doing here is I am marking my camera and tablet with tape. This way, I can actually fix these problems. Hang on, guys. There. I've probably really confused it, but I probably should have control. I've got control of my tablet again. Okay. Something about doing the there we go. That's back. Drawing monitor is working. I can grab control of my pen now. Yay. That's what I was after. Phew. Hey, some user. Good morning, my friend. How you doing? Welcome, fellow travelers on Spaceship Earth. Okay, currency, inflation, banks, barter system, etc. I'm not, well, I guess one could argue that I'm procrastinating because I'm waiting for, I sent off my comics to be proofread. And they're being proofread, but then my proofreaders caught COVID. So though they're okay, they're not feeling good. So they're not working on, they're working on recovering. So I'm going to let them recover. So I'm over here world building. We're just asking questions. So, how does the economic system work? Because it's a meritocracy. So, people with merit have a higher ranking than people without merit. You should be asking that same question, which is, what do I do about? So, merit. Just put this down. This guy's pen is felt tip because I want to do this. Years of service to the society. Colors. No. Currency is granted, maybe, by years of service. So I'm trying to think about this. Like, years of service is what you got. It's almost like you'd have points, right? So, like, I mean, you have to come up with sort of a thing where your meritocracy grants you X number of points. So, if you are, for example, the trip around the sun, right? Yep. My cousin messaged me and said, "Happy birthday." My sister messaged me. Oh my goodness. Everybody's just doing stuff. Mm-hmm. All right. What's going on? Just a lot of people. All right. I got a call from where? Hang on, guys. I got a work call. Now I'm gonna have to figure out what they were calling for because work just called me, and I'm like, I'm not scheduled to work today. Am I? Now I'm like all worried. Am I scheduled to work today? So, okay. I don't know what my work needed, but I'm kind of concerned here. Anyway, I'll get back to thinking about what I was thinking about, which was my meritocracy. Form of See, now I kind of feel like I need to go check out on one of my randomizers to see. She has to have a currency randomizer. Currency names. All right. Eagle Eyes, Tribe Copper, Freedom Ducat, a Tenge. I like Vlyfiro, Gold Slander. That's good. Some interesting presidential ducat. A sanguine quina. I don't know what a quina is, but that's kind of cool. Bottle caps. Well, it had to happen somewhere. I like a quina. So I'm just thinking stuff through here, guys, if you're wondering what I'm up to. So like the Unity has a Kina, which is the Unity Kina. It's the unit of like the dollar or whatever. Each person has a rank. I think I've used this, so I'm going to save as and make this in world building. Look at my collections, how to world build. I can close this. This is important because, like, I didn't think about money changing hands because I had been, of course, mimicking Star Trek. Well, if you mimic Star Trek, that's fine, but Star Trek has no money. That's what they've said ever from the very beginning. They got rid of money a long time ago. Well, you still have to interface with people who do have money. Like, for example, the Ferengi always have money, so you've got to interface with them somehow. Because thinking of your total net worth could command different operations economically by trading your value of. I'm just trying to think through kind of the way that hang on real quick. Mosquito. Stupid bloodsuckers. I have a dead mosquito. All right. So I'm thinking through. Kina is the name of the Unity's. So Unity Kina. And that is a value of a person's service to society. So the more you serve society in one way or another, the more Kina you have. Which is how you get people joining the military service. Some jobs are valued more than others. Usually the crappier the job, the more dangerous the job. So we'll write that down. The worse the job, the more Kina. You earn. So if you want to go clean the sewers, you'll get a lot of Kina. The sewers are dirty and nasty and horrible places to go. those types of things you command. You can buy, it probably would be in units though. So for example, let's not do that because that seems kind of weird. Undo that because actually we're drawing directly on here. So let's instead do this. Just draw directly on here. Just erase what we just did. All right. So you can expend your Kina, I think, is what it should be. So for example, Bob wants to buy a helicopter. He makes 100 Kina. Let's come up with a better symbol than that. A year. I'm just making numbers so I can figure this out. A helicopter costs 200 Kina. You know what it should be is this, right? Because it's a unity Kina. And that makes as much sense as why we use an S for the dollar. I mean, I'm just saying. Right? He to work some other task to get enough Kina to buy. Thinking this through. Okay. Because that should be a standard value. Really, if you think about this, kind of thinking it through now, if you have a value to something, right? So your personal kina value represents both a direct value. So, for example, e.g. net worth and a yearly budget. Which can be depleted. So you are granted 100 kina a year. If you spend 10 of them buying a car, you are left with 90 kina left, but you're still valued at 100 kina. At the end of the year, on New Year's Day, your kina value returns to 100. Which would mean that a lot of people do a lot of purchasing right at the end of the year because they end up with a budget deficit and stuff like that. So it'd be like really popular in the last phase of the year for shopping. I'm just like thinking this through because, like, how would you make a valuable meritocracy work where the value of an hour of work is valued? And I mean, really, logistically, no matter what, we're going to have two different values. The kina can be the root value, but there's going to have to be values above that. Because 1 kina equals 1 hour's worth of work. So it's not tied to a standard. It's tied to 1 hour of normal working for a human or for a person. Person is used typically in Bellatrix Rising to refer to any of the sentient creatures that live in the culture. I'm just like, I like writing stuff out like this because it makes me think about stuff, and I write it out and I'm all good. So 1 kina equals 1 work hour. There would be a ton of laws about work hours. Like, how do you value a work hour? Like, can I call this a work hour that I did here? Did I do 2 work hours of time? You know what I mean? Like, it makes me think. Like, how do you know whether I did 2 work hours? But you can't judge a half a work hour. Because you don't want people doing some user, I have decided that you are a lazy person, and so you only get half a work hour for this, half a kina for the job that you did. That seems kind of like that's too subjective. Says me thinking about this. I'm like, where? The unit is the Kina. We will now make a thing, create new. I will now make the character for a Kina because I actually now am curious, or I actually want to make that happen. So we'll take this and we'll make it bold. And Arial works fine, and I will do a U, capital U. And we'll make it 4 billion size so that it's there. Yeah, this becomes kind of a thought experiment, doesn't it? I mean, like, maybe I don't think. Maybe is it better if it's not bold? Maybe it's better if it's not bold. Is it different? It doesn't make any difference if it's bold or not. Because it's Arial black. Just do Arial. Actually, I will use something with serifs because I like serif fonts. And like Book Antiquity. Like that one's really cool. It is totally fine, man. I just appreciate you hanging with me today, you know? Always good to see you. It's always good to have you on the show. Yay, it's a big U. Then I will render this, or rasterize this. Because then you want this line to be huge, right? So like really big, bigger than that. And I like the idea that the Unity Kina technically has a line going up. The lines are parallel, but going upward, like this for graphic design. The same. There we go. And then this becomes the standard Unity Kina. And then I will make a smaller version of it, which will be Arial. And here, and we will do the same thing. This is the smaller version, or this is the non rasterize. And what I actually will do is this. You know what it should be? It should be the U with a star in it. Like it has a special character for this. Kind of like the idea of it being a U with a star, a very specialized character. Or even more, maybe it's just a star. I mean, like, I'm sitting here kind of thinking this through, and I'm like, you know, it could probably be yeah, let's make it a star. Because I think that a star, well, maybe not. I don't know. Currencies never, I don't know. I really kind of want to make it a star. Now I'm like, maybe I want a star. Right? Here, let's try with, let's see if there is a star that I can swipe over in my materials. It has technically a material on it. So let's look to see if they, I like the mosaics. Just in case I ever need to have, some kind of nudity or something like that I want to like block out so nobody can see people. There's a heart. I held a heart. There we go. It's a star. Now, if I bring the star in, is this manipulatable? Because this looks a little too fluffy. So, let's see. Can I control any part of this, or is this a bitmap? Looks like a bitmap. Doesn't my comic have what? Currency? Nobody's talked about it yet. And I mean, really, honestly, you would use your currency, or do you mean using the star? Oh, nudity? Yes, it does. It doesn't have a lot of violence, but it has nudity. Because I think that our culture is screwed up by thinking that nudity is stupid, and gross, or whatever. And it annoys me. Grump, 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 grump. Oh my god, I can make the anger marks. I can make a blush, apparently. Who knew that? Uru, uru. I guess that does sound kind of like sobbing, doesn't it? There's a giggle. Get it. Oh, that's kind of cool. Hey, look at all these fun things that are over here. Like click. Gotcha. I guess these all make sense. They all make sense. Movement. Yeah. Oh, I'm having way too much fun reading all these signs. Oh, wait, that's right. That's the problem. Is that like now it's our weird cultural hang-up is spreading to all over the world. Like you used to be able to see nudity anytime you wanted on like European TV, and now it's like no. You guys think of the children. Think what children might happen to children if they saw naked people. It doesn't even make sense. Well, yeah, and that totally makes sense. Like, it just, I don't know. Like, I have a kid. Trying to get a kid to keep the clothes on is difficult because they don't get it. They don't understand why. You know what I mean? Like, you have to, and that's part of the problem that I think especially as an adult, I've gotten even more aggravated about, is that now kids have to learn shame. We have culturally built this body shame that must exist for everybody. You have to teach your children proper shame. And it's like, why? Why do we do that? Why? You know what? You could just build your own at this point in time. You spent a lot of time messing with materials. You might as well just build your own at this point, which is what I'm going to do. Grab a line control here, line, and go this way. Whoa, that's too big. Right. This isn't that. That's yeah, like I don't think this is going to work like you think it will. Like, dang it. Yeah, see, that just ended up being a weird star. I don't know. Maybe it is sort of a... Could be stylized. It is a currency. I'm not going to quit right away because I started a little late. It's not bad. Yeah, for trying to connect them, you really didn't, did you? So they didn't connect them. They added these weird points to all of this stuff now. Huh. Like, I don't know what to do with all of that. Do I take requests? I am all... By the way, hello. I guess it depends. Do you have something simple? Because I'm more than happy to try to draw something simple. I love simple stuff. Like, do you want like a Pikachu or something like that? That's pretty easy. I guess it depends. What's the request? Okay, now, why are you not connecting? Connect vector lines. Connect vector lines. Like, you guys should be connected, right? Connect. So? Really? Oh, for crying out loud. This has become markedly harder than it needed to be. All I wanted to do was come up with a symbol for my currency, and this has now become a pain in the butt. Come on, people. Work with me here. This should all be one unit, and it isn't, and I'm not sure why. All of you, the whole thing. There. Are you one unit? No, you're still not one unit. Well, you did connect these two. Congratulations, you did sort of what you're supposed to do. Yeah, I'm not happy with this. I wanted a star, and then I'm like, meh. What if I were to take and put onto this layer and just draw it, right? Right? Now it's all with fire powers. Finn's paws, crystal. Let's see, maybe. Oh, yeah. So from like the game. With fire powers, huh? I'm in. Let's see what I can do. We will pause. Where's a source for it? Is this a YouTuber? Wait, looking here. Curious. Oh. Oh, gotcha. So you're looking at my take on Vince Paz characters? Should be pretty easy. I mean, like, Vince Paz has got a nice, easy style to work with. Let's see what we can do, huh? So kind of operating out on, ooh, I need a bigger brush. Let's see what I got here. With apologies to Vince Paz, because he's got a great style, or she. Probably should use something not that color. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. With fire powers, though, are we like looking at maybe what this character potentially could do? Don't worry about the cleanup. I'll get in there and clean this up. Just trying to kind of get the rough ideas in. There we go, like that. That meets there. It's good. Nope. There. I like the bold lines. Alrighty. I'm just moving that up there so I can still read it. Yeah, and you decided to explode. That doesn't surprise me. This is probably not as sharp. I think that's probably closer to what it's doing right here. Across the nose bridge, like so. I'm looking at a Vince Paws character sheet to kind of give me an idea of what's going on. Especially since we've got to give room for things here like this. This. Might have made this eye just a hair too big, but that's all right. Excuse me. Once you get all the anatomy in, boy, you can find that you just messed up, didn't you? Yep, that's normal. I like taking requests because it gives me a moment to just kind of clean up my lines and stuff like that and practice doing other things. I do have an Instagram. It's at the bottom of the screen here. It says at GS. Well, no, that's the top. It's at the top of the screen, top right. Sorry, at GS Davis Art. Not normally my style, which is a lovely thing to do. I love working outside of my style. So there you go. Vince Paws characters are. This character is partially gray. Make sure I get all the right colors real quickly here. Like a dark gray up here. Like that. 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 And that. Not a darker gray necessarily, but the. Oh, yeah, we're. Hey, you're not ready to do that yet, says Studio Paint. Because it's like, you didn't finish this picture down here, so you did. No. Do that. And then I'll just go ahead and just end that there because I need to get in here in color. Right? We just discussed this. Alrighty. Warp, 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 warp. Both of her arms except for her hands. Can't see where her hands end. Should be right about. Whoops. Here, play this game. There we go. Work. And we'll do that. It's her neck. Her neck is white. Alrighty. And then we need a pink. Pink. And I think we pretty much covered it all. Except for the fire. It needs to be sort of yellow, orangish, reddish stuff. Work. And then I'll do this and this because she's looking at it. Right? That works. Will I be putting this picture in Instagram? I don't know. Maybe. I mean, I like doing requests because it's good to practice and stuff like that. Always good to practice. And I love practicing other people's art styles because it's good to figure out whether I can see it. But then we're kind of stomping on another person's character, and I don't want to do that. I want, that's their character. I don't mind drawing it and saying with apologies to Vince Paz. Because, it's kind of fun. Maybe I will put a background on here or something. Let's give myself sort of, we've got orange, so we'll offset with sort of a light green. Okay, we put this behind, then we'll have to come up and do something about this. Gives it a very Nagel feel, right? Which is fine because then we come up here and we go to just slightly off gray. And go work. And poof. Slightly off gray. So, alrighty. There we go. For our final trick today, our final trick is to do Vin's Paz character. I don't know if it's Christ, maybe Christ. So what I will do though is this. There we go. I'll go on ahead and put it out on Insta for you. You know what? I'm going to make a new folder called requests. Because sometimes I get requests. Oh, I already have one. I have a request folder. I've already done it. Well, then I won't need to make a new one. That makes it easier. I just need to go look for the folder and say, oh, why did you do it? Oh, because I've got a request folder there. And we'll save it as a JPEG. Well, I'll tag him in the picture. I don't know if he'll. I don't want his. I mean, I don't need his approval. I guess I don't think I need his approval. I just. You know what this needs though? This needs shading. Like I feel like it doesn't have shading. You know what I mean? Like, ugh. I wonder if Vince Paws would mind if I shaded a little bit. Think anybody would mind that? Let's do some shading real quick. I have no idea whether Vince Paws would think that this was a good thing or not. I would assume she would think, they would think that it was kind of cute. But the difference really kind of is that I didn't know about this person until just now. So I don't feel like I'm necessarily flattering them too much, you know? Kind of wonder if there's a shading line through here. This. Right. I'm not 100% sure if there's a shading line like that would give sort of this roundish feel to the front of the face there. Right. Come up through here a little bit like so. Maybe up through here. There we go. A little bit of shading. No. Kind of does change the aspect of this quite a bit, doesn't it? I don't like that one. Hello, that Kiwi chick. All right. With apologies to Vince Paws, there is my interpretation. Yes, save over that. That's totally fine. How are you doing today? Go over here. Fire up this. No, I need the other one. This one. Where are you people? Oh, it's up there. That's why. A couple of days ago, my web people the web people were like, well, alrighty, I'll post this up. Hang on real quick. I'm posting this up onto Insta, and we'll call this my day. We definitely need to crop it. Really? Isn't any way to make it not be this way? There we go. This way. It is not the right size. Well. I wonder what his handle is on Insta. Do you know his handle on Insta? Vince Pause. So, hey, DiNarlo. It's still me. I'm doing good, that Kiwi chick. We're working on furry art, I guess. So I need to figure out the web people. Yes. And hey, Can. All right. Trying to figure. Hey, Can, who? Do you know the tag for Vince Paws? Oh, it's at Vince Paws. It's pretty straightforward. That works. Oh, wow. Quick. Oh, right there. Oh, that location. West. Line art. That works. We'll go. Firing that off now. All right. My Instagram is still the same as it's up in my upper right-hand corner. Well, here. Whoop. It's up here, right here, at GS Davis Art. There we go. So there we go. Got you that, and we're good. And I think I've done a lot of damage on my economy. I feel like that's a lot of stuff I have done here. I'm trying to kind of work through the old economy of my comic. That's kind of a thing that I do because I'm waiting for my beta readers to finish reading my comics, but they've got COVID. So there's that. I really feel like I'd come up with a good thing here, both like your direct value and so you have like your yearly pay, which commands a certain amount of maneuverability in the society. And you have a depletable unit of that. There you go. Okay. I'm glad to have seen you guys here. Hey, Denarlo and Peugeot and Kayan and that Kiwi chick. So, and of course, we have Kat here somewhere. And Ray was here for a while. I'm not sure if Ray's still here or not. Some user was here, definitely. I'm not sure if some users here. We've gotten kind of, I mean, we were talking about web people, and now we got a whole bunch of people out here. So some user, if you're still here, thank you for hanging out with me and tolerating me doing random weird side stuff. It's good to see you, my friend. I'm like, I hope we didn't lose you. I mean, you can send me a message, sure. Oh, that's fine, some user. So, as long as you don't need me to pay you money or anything, Peugeot, we're good. Because, like, I don't have any money. I'm an artist. I'm broke. Like most artists, I'm just broke. We don't ever have money. We are always broke. All right, guys, I think I'm at the end of my show for today. Of course, I'll be broadcasting again tonight at the normal hours that you see on the screen here. And so we'll be broadcasting at that point, and I'll see you later on. Again, if you want to follow the comics that we're working on up here, these are the comics and where to find them. You can find them all at globalcomics.com. You can find mine as Bellatrix Rising, and Armageddon Divinity is Cans, who he just popped in here for a second, and Godsbane is Cats. And they just popped in here just a second ago too, but they're working, so that's the way it goes. Pia is by Raph, who's here sometimes, and Pepper is here in the morning sometimes too. So there you go. If you're interested in any of the comics that we're working on or things that are going on right now, you can read all of them there. If you want to buy comics, I actually sell them. You can just send $7.50 an issue plus $4 for shipping and handling, and then make sure you send it to paypal.me/GSDavisArt. Make sure you indicate how many copies you want and which copies you want of which unit. So there is one issue, the blue issue, the white issue, and then there's a red issue. So all three of those. I should probably add that to this. So I ship out on Fridays. So if you're interested, that's also a possibility. All right, folks, thank you so much for joining me today. It's been wonderful being here and hanging out with you guys, all of us as fellow travelers on Spaceship Earth. And I will see you all again tonight. And as I often say, keep your eyes on the stars. Goodbye.